What's a man or a king? In response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much make it a portrait. Gun kick back, knock grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man or a king? In response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted, this what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And today we get right back into Microsoft. Microsoft has been all over the headlines, and right now Satya Nadella is talking about Xbox in general. Now, they did show you their new quantum chip, and I think right now you're seeing Microsoft's strategy for the future. The greatest leap in a generation. We're going to see exactly what all that stuff means, where Xbox takes the helm and your man holding down Microsoft is pushing all the buttons. Single player is still in play. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella commits to producing great quality Xbox games. As Xbox expands, we've got to produce great quality games. Following up on yesterday's announcement of Muse AI, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has been talking about Xbox commitment to gaming in a new episode of Darkwish Podcast, noting that his team has to produce great quality games to be successful in this field. Basically, the discussion about Microsoft's current business ventures led to other chatter about Muse AI and how Microsoft tries to utilize lots of different products and ideas across multiple disciplines. While this is the case with Muse, which could be much wider implications at Microsoft than just Xbox, Satya makes it clear that it has to be successful in gaming. You have to focus on great games and not just products like this. Gaming has a lot of long history at this company, and we want to be in gaming for gaming's sake. I hate to be in a business where they're a means to an end. There have to be ends unto themselves. For example, cloud gaming is a natural thing for us to invest in because that is just expanding the ability for people to play games everywhere. Same thing with AI and gaming. We definitely think that it can be helpful. As in the world's largest publisher, this will be helpful, but at the same time, we got to produce great quality games. You can't be a gaming publisher without first and foremost focusing on that. And with that being said, a longtime Xbox fan asked Microsoft in its current strategy shift. This is where they hear from the company's CEO himself. As we mentioned in yesterday's Muse post, the future of AI gaming is still uncertain, but Nadella and Microsoft understand that high-quality games come first. I've been telling you for a long time, the shift in their understanding that Xbox is a huge priority when it comes to Microsoft has not changed. There's no difference. We know exactly what the goal is, and the goal is to be, like he said, the largest publisher in the world. The greatest? Well, right now, they're the largest. Now, I know a lot of you are not into live service games, and I see it in the chat. A lot of you guys say live service games aren't where it's at, and that's not where you game. I mean, if you catch me on Frontline Gaming streams, you'll see me playing a lot of live service games. If it's not Fortnite, it's Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, games of that nature. But at the same time, I like to play complete games within themselves, games like Avowed, games like Indiana Jones. Well, it's safe to say many people are tired of developers chasing the live service trend that is taking over gaming. It seems like almost everyone wants to jump in on a live service train. When looking at how successful live service can be, it's easy to see why a developer would join the party. When live service title becomes popular, it can stay relevant for years and make boatloads of cash. Phil Spencer, wants players to experience the complete package. Pause. Games with a beginning, middle, and end are a priority at Xbox. Following a developer direct from Xbox, Phil Spencer spoke with Xbox Era in an interview about upcoming titles featuring during the direct. Spencer speaks mostly on how excited he is for upcoming titles such as Avowed from Obsidian, Ninja Gaiden 4 from Platinum Games and Team Ninja. He also goes on to discuss how these games are part of a new motivation from Xbox, creating quality single-player titles where fans can enjoy an entire game without needing to wait for more content. It's stuff like that that is pushing the industry forward. It's this commitment to Game Pass and a strategy to placing games in strategic places so all gamers around the world can feel like how Phil feels. Pause. They want to complete a game. You know, sometimes you don't have all the time in the world to just continually do objectives without an end. Sometimes you just want a very nice game. And Xbox lineup this year shows that Xbox has definitely committed to that venture. Now, learning what a quantum chip is the bigger problem. You see, a lot of times we look and we see different innovations happening in the space. What does this truly mean for us?
Sometimes it's nothing, the zero state, and sometimes it's the electron, the one state.
So it really has taken quite some thinking, right? Some time to design a device, design a chip that can enable measurement of this literally elusive particle. We've designed a chip that is able to measure the presence of Majorana. Majorana allows us to create a topological qubit. A topological qubit is reliable, small, and controllable. This solves the noise problem that creates errors in qubits. Now that we have these topological qubits, we're able to build an entirely new quantum architecture, the topological core, which can scale to 1 million topological qubits on a tiny chip.
Every single atom in this chip is placed purposefully. It is constructed from ground up. It is entirely a new state of matter. Think of us as building the picture by painting it atom by atom. In a regular chip, the computation is done using electrons. We don't use electrons for compute. We use Majoranas for compute. It's an entirely new particle. It's half electron.
When we look at the design of this chip, right, first of all, you can fit so much on just a small form factor, right? This chip can store over 1 million qubits, right? Over 1 million can fit on just this small form factor. In addition, we don't want to wait centuries or millennia for a solution. And so this chip also offers the right speed to get solutions from the chip in a reasonable, efficient, amount of time. That's the beauty in this qubit design, the topological qubit.
Where did this technology come from? People aren't asking the right questions. The questions in finding a source, a material that wasn't there before, but they found now that is elusive and they're able to control it. Microsoft is the first of its kind with this chip. The Google chip is not the same as this chip. This chip is light years ahead of the quantum chip that Google has. But there's a reason why this year, out of all the years, you're going to hear more about quantum. You're going to hear more about AI. You're going to hear more about the evolution of AI and quantum and how it affects us as consumers.
It has the right size, the right speed, and the right type of controllability. And all of that together means that it has an ability to scale like no other.
The way the system that we are constructing works is you have the quantum accelerator, you have a classical machine that works with it and controls it, and then you have the application that essentially goes between classical and quantum depending on which problem it's trying to solve. Once the computations are done, the results are resynthesized on the classical side and produced back to the user as one complete answer. Where the quantum machine shines, it is able to do simulations, particularly in chemistry and materials, that are extremely accurate, as accurate as an actual wet lab experiment. Imagine a world where a scientist computes the material that they want, and they compute it to the accuracy that it's first time right. So when you walk into a lab, you don't need to experiment anymore. Imagine a battery that you charge it once and you never have to worry about discharging.
What can you do with 1 million qubits?
Xbox and Microsoft has definitely understood the assignment. The assignment going forward is what's going to happen with how we perceive video games to be made. Now, we don't know the level of interaction that humans will have with the making of video games versus the interaction with AI. Microsoft's Xbox era, AI era, starts with a model that can generate gameplay. They already knew this stuff was in the works. This stuff has been working on since last year, and they're finally ready to unveil it to the public. In seeing these things, this stuff here, Microsoft Research and Xbox Game Studios Ninja Theory has partnered to create a new AI model for gaming. They reported in November that Microsoft was about to start a bigger effort to bring AI features to Xbox, and today the company is ready to unveil that work. Xbox developers create parts of games in the future, and the company said it's even exploring the potential of using it to preserve classic games and optimize them for modern hardware. That's a way to bypass licensees and the quirks of bespoke hardware. Sometimes you lose the code for like the Crytek engine and stuff like that. Remember when they lost how to make some of the Transformers games, but they found out that they've still found the code and stuff like that? Well, with this stuff here, this stuff will be training in order to remove those barriers. Microsoft Research has created Muse, a first-of-its-kind generative AI model that can generate a game environment based on visuals or player controller actions. It understands 3D game world and game physics and can react to how players interact with the game. This allows the model to create a consistent and diverse gameplay rendering by AI, demonstrating a major leap forward in generative AI models that can empower game creators. Now, when they were using Bleeding Edge, do you see that right there? That is the AI creating it. That is not Bleeding Edge. That's AI making that game. The Muse model was trained on a large amount of human gameplay data from Xbox game Bleeding Edge, thanks to a collaboration between Microsoft's Research and Xbox Studio Ninja Theory, both of which are based in Cambridge in the UK. This partnership allowed them to closely collaborate with the game studio to understand what needs to be in place and how they can responsibly unlock access to a large amount of gameplay data. This stuff changes how we are going to get video games. Now, yesterday, people misunderstood a lot of stuff that I was talking about. Some people got it, some people didn't. And of course, AI is going to help. What I'm trying to explain is the same way you guys were fearful for consolidation, right? With Xbox purchasing the ABK. Now, when they purchased Bethesda, ZeniMax, really wasn't too much worry there. But we knew that ABK was a larger entity. And if Xbox decided to take it in a different way, it could have ended dramatically different. Luckily, they were never in a position to take advantage of those type of deals. There were people in place to mitigate, stop, and fight back against such an acquisition. Now, we've noticed that there's some changes in the law, especially in the CMA, especially in the FTC, where a lot of people have lost their jobs during this period of time. And those people was a full in opposition to Microsoft in making any acquisitions. Now we see that the ability for Xbox and Microsoft to continue to acquire new studios in this space is definitely open. I do believe that they acquire another large publisher this year. I also do believe in the same token, you're going to see a more diverse library of games hitting Game Pass and other platforms. You're going to see a more focused strategy on delivering games in a cadence that is conducive to growth in the space. But I also believe that you would see a shrinkage when it comes to as many developers as you would think that would be needed to maintain something of that scale. I honestly believe that the loss of job is high. Now, somebody said something in the chat yesterday, and I like to go through the chat and read. I'm there. Every show, I'm there. I'm watching, I'm reading, and I'm talking to you guys because I think interaction between us is key. But somebody said, well, AI can help the smaller developer. The smaller developer. All right. Let me explain a couple of things. Did you notice that in Game Pass right now, remember early on in Game Pass, Microsoft and Xbox will have a ton of third parties and smaller developers as the focus of Game Pass? The more studios Microsoft purchased, the less and less you saw that because they relied upon their own in order to push their own product, right? That will be a consistent thing throughout the industry. As the platform wars take height, the third-party indie developer will be less of a focus, and more of the focus will go to the platform holders and the service holders. So that would lead to a lot of burial, if you will, when coming to find a new product from an indie developer. Not saying some gems won't slip through, won't make it out. My fear, it will be a lot harder because think about it. You said these indie developers, 5-10 people, get a chance to use the same technology that Microsoft is using. It won't be the same. They will have a version, but it will be a lesser version. Microsoft will have the same amount of developers with a greater version to produce more games on their platforms. I believe that this is going to change the way we perceive video games going forward. I stand and fight for the little guy. But I remember what I say. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And a lot of people thought Xbox games going to PlayStation is such a good thing for PlayStation guys. You champion this. There's a level of trepidation that you have to look at. See, right now, PlayStation's in a fight of their life. My subscription just renewed for PlayStation Plus. But I'm not enthusiastic about anything that's inside PlayStation Plus. They have to make it more attractive. Because if Game Pass becomes the de facto service, that means that in some form or fashion, the PlayStation consumer will also have Game Pass and will have a PlayStation. If they're waiting for Xbox games to show up on PlayStation, what happens when they have Game Pass and they no longer need to wait for those games? That device becomes null and void. It's going to be a period of time where them not taking the steps forward to expand and grow is going to cut out their fan base. Now, maybe you don't see it. Maybe in your head you're saying 75 million, so I don't know what the fuck does that do to you. I'm talking as a consumer on products that I love. I think Nintendo's a little bit more insulated, but I do not trust the Switch 2 at this moment. I have to see after April 1st. But again, I don't think the Switch and Nintendo is immune from what Xbox and Microsoft is becoming. If you think I'm talking about this as a bot, I don't care how you take it. It's a cautionary tale for me to explain something to you. I know they have the power, the resources. The reason why I showed you the quantum chip is to let you know they are in a different stratosphere than any other publisher in the market, any other console developer, any other game developer in the market. They are in a different stratosphere, and that level of ambition is detrimental if not used properly. A lot of you guys got hope that they use it properly. I've seen this story before. That's why I'm trying to tell you. I've seen it before. And knowing this is wild. But if you saw Frontline Gaming streams today, we played some Fortnite. We played some Marvel Rivals. Tomorrow, Johnny Storm and the Thing shows up. Tomorrow, Fortnite new season starts. I don't know what the hell is going to go on, but I know I personally, I'm going to take my logo and I'm going to throw it around both of them because tomorrow, I'm going to try to play the Game Pass.